The barracks always carried the same rhythm, boots scuffing the concrete floors, the metallic clink of gear being adjusted, the muted chatter of voices trying to carve out light moments in a world designed for discipline. Among the rows of cots and lockers sat the newest recruits, each one carrying a different past, a different reason for joining. Some were chasing glory, others an escape, and some, like her, were simply trying to survive the weight of everything that had already tried to break them. She was small-framed compared to most, quiet, a shadow in a uniform. On her arms, faint beneath the rolled sleeves, were scars, lines and ridges, each one a story no one dared to ask about directly. But curiosity was cruel, and in the closed world of recruits, cruelty had a way of surfacing when boredom struck. It was late after drills, sweat still clinging to the air. A group of recruits sat polishing their rifles, joking, teasing. One of them, a tall, sharp-eyed boy barely out of high school, glanced at her. He had noticed her scars before, but this time he couldn't resist. He leaned over, his voice loud enough for everyone to hear. "What's the deal with those arms of yours? You take a fall through barbed wire or what?" His words drew a few chuckles. She didn't flinch. She kept her eyes on the rifle in her lap, moving the cloth slowly along its barrel. Silence had become her armor. The boy wasn't satisfied. "Or maybe it's not barbed wire," he continued, grinning. "Maybe you did that to yourself. You know, couldn't handle the heat of life, so you tried to punch out early." He laughed, nudging the recruit beside him, who forced a weak smile. The room went quiet except for the sound of her steady breathing. The silence wasn't guilt. Not yet. It was anticipation, as if the walls themselves were holding their breath. She finally looked up. Her eyes met his for a second, calm but distant, like someone who had seen fire and didn't need to prove it. She said nothing, and then the sound of heavy boots echoed in the hallway. The door swung open with authority, and in stepped the general. His presence shifted the air immediately, the way a storm changes the sky before it breaks. He wasn't supposed to be there. Generals didn't wander into barracks at random. Yet here he was, his uniform sharp, his chest marked with the weight of years of service, his eyes scanning like a hawk's. The recruits shot to their feet, backs straight, eyes front. Even the boy who had mocked her snapped into stiff attention, his smirk wiped clean. The general's boots stopped in the center of the room. He let the silence grow, letting every heartbeat in the room align with the weight of his authority. Then his eyes landed on her. "You," he said, his voice deep, cutting through the room like steel. "Soldier. Call sign." The others looked at her, wondering if she would stammer, if she even had one yet. She raised her head, shoulders squared, and answered, her voice steady. "Phoenix, sir." The general's expression didn't change, but his eyes sharpened. He nodded once. "Phoenix," he repeated, his tone carrying power. He turned, sweeping his gaze across the room. "Do you know why she is called that?" No one spoke. The boy who had mocked her swallowed hard. The general took a slow step forward, hands clasped behind his back. "Because she burned. She fell. And she rose again. Those scars you see on her arms. They are not weakness. They are survival. They are strength. They are the proof that when life tried to kill her, she refused to die." The words fell heavy, each one landing like a hammer against the fragile pride of the room. The recruits shifted uncomfortably. The general's eyes locked on the boy who had mocked her. "Some of you think toughness is measured by how loud you talk, or how sharp you laugh at another's pain. But real toughness is getting back up when everything inside you says stay down." "Real toughness," he said, his voice dropping lower, sharper, is wearing your scars openly and still putting on this uniform to serve. The boy's face drained of color. His lips parted, but no words came. His silence betrayed him. The general turned back to Phoenix. For a moment, the weight of the entire room fell away, and it was just the two of them. One soldier carrying her scars, and one leader who recognized them for what they were. He gave her the faintest nod, one soldier to another, before addressing the room again. You will respect her, not because I say so, but because she's already fought battles you couldn't imagine. And if you can't respect that, you don't belong in my army. The silence that followed was thicker than before. No one moved, no one breathed too loudly. The general's words didn't just scold. They branded themselves into the recruits, etching a lesson deeper than any drill ever could. He left as suddenly as he came, boots echoing down the hall. The recruits slowly sat back down, but the energy in the room had shifted. The boy who had mocked her kept his head down, shame pressing his shoulders. No one dared to speak. The only sound was the slow, methodical polish of rifles, but now, every so often, a pair of eyes would glance at Phoenix, not with judgment, not with pity, but with respect. She didn't need to say anything. She simply returned to her task, cloth sliding along steel, the faintest spark of fire alive behind her eyes. Because she knew what they now knew, that she wasn't broken. She wasn't weak. She was a phoenix, and no one could take that away. And from that night forward, when her call sign crackled through the radios in training or echoed across the drill fields, every recruit felt the weight of it. Phoenix was not a name. It was a story, a reminder, a truth that no mockery could erase.